Hey everyone, welcome to the show. This is JR, founder and CEO of Social Market, here with the Social Ledger Report. We're going to talk about American Bitcoin. And this is an article from Benzinga Crypto. I swear to God, who even comes up with these names? Like, that Benzinga, that's such a mouthful. Now, I'm ESL, or English Second Language, so I'm also kind of just going to butcher a lot of things here. So, American Bitcoin. This is an American-based Bitcoin mining company, and it's largely funded by Eric Trump and the Trump media company. I think that's generally the basis of it. So when Leon and I went to Consensus 2025 in Canada, they were talking about how they wanted to make America the capital of the world. Eric Trump thought about American Bitcoin or ABTC sounding really nice, so especially for NASDAQ, which is what we're going to cover here in a moment. Quick segment though, I thought it was really interesting being in Canada. As you may have already known, there's been this massive narrative push that Canada is going to become the 51st state. So you can imagine the kind of crowd that was there in Consensus 2025. It was a bit of a mixed crowd. You had, Canadians, and then you had Americans. So the crowd was kind of polarizing, which I'm not trying to make this political, but that's kind of the current state of affairs with American Bitcoin. Is kind of controversial because the name being tied with Trump. But also, I mean, if you ask any people who is in crypto here in America, they're going to think that, Trump is doing amazing things for crypto, which I agree. So people who are not crypto experts, they're probably not going to be in favor of American Bitcoin or anything that Trump is doing with Bitcoin. But that's as far as I'll get political. So this article is from Benzinga, which is kind of a mouthful. In any case, Eric Trump last week actually came out with a post saying American Bitcoin, ABTC, next stop NASDAQ. And you can find this article in the description as well. So there's this story, there's this image that I saw last week that said that to mine one entire Bitcoin in America costed about $109,000. Now, this new bill that Trump passed like last month, I think it was called the Big Beautiful Bill, there was going to be a increase on light or electricity use in the States. So that's certainly not going to help for mining Bitcoin. But that's mostly for residential buildings, I think, because in commercial buildings, electricity rate is less because there's going to be more required. Anyways, in this case, Eric Trump is talking about ABTC being in the NASDAQ. So American Bitcoin has already acquired $23 million in Bitcoin to build its reserve. So not only are they building a infrastructure-based company, but also a treasury in of itself. So the Winklevoss twins, the people who founded the Gemini American Exchange, have said before that they've invested in the IPO using Bitcoin, not cash. So American Bitcoin is largely holding a lot of Bitcoin, which is amazing. I think this is going to be the first company that we're seeing rely heavily on Bitcoin. We've seen MicroStrategy, or Strategy now by Michael Saylor, talk about using Bitcoin as a way to increase the value for a company, which is really interesting. We're now at the point where companies like GameStop, who can barely function as a business, just by buying Bitcoin, their company value increases significantly. So it's kind of a cheat code if you think about it, but it's also kind of interesting seeing how it affects all these companies. So we'll see what happens. I think ABTC being the first company that is going to be in the NASDAQ that is purely only Bitcoin is going to be interesting. Well, obviously we have Coinbase and then we have Circle. So there's actually all these multitude of crypto-based companies coming out. For Strategy, they're just doing a variety of things, but they are incorporating Bitcoin a lot for their strategy reserve. So all this to say that we're starting to see a big influence here with crypto coming up, and it's really exciting. Now, this is from Yahoo Finance. Finally, a name that I can pronounce. It says, American Bitcoin and Griffin announced a commencement of Griffin stockholder voting on Go Public transaction. So what this means is there's going to be some actual significant movement to ABTC going live or going public. So this meeting is going to be held on August 27th, 2025. Yahoo Finance says that American Bitcoin Corp, ABTC, a Bitcoin accumulation platform focused on building America's Bitcoin infrastructure's backbone, and Griffin Digital Mining Incorporated, or GRYP, Griffin, an innovative venture in the Bitcoin mining space, today announced that Griffin stockholder voting has commenced in connection with the previously announced stock-for-stock merger transaction between American Bitcoin and Griffin. Upon closing the transaction, the combined company will operate under the American Bitcoin brand, led by the management and board of directors of American Bitcoin. The combined company is expected to trade on NASDAQ under the ticker symbol ABTC, with the transaction currently targeted to close in early September 2025. Subject to Griffin stockholders voting to approve the proposed transaction and the satisfaction of other customary closing conditions. So again, yeah, it means ABTC is going to go public if all goes well. It's going to be interesting. One thing we've seen with crypto-based companies going live is their price just goes parabolic. Well, there was Figma, but Figma is not crypto-based. That one's just more like hype. It's a great product. Circle went parabolic. Circle is the issuer of USDC, which is largely owned by Coinbase. Coinbase stock did go up a lot initially. It was the first crypto-based company to go live as a result. And now we're going to have ABTC. So I'm really interested to see this. This will be the third only crypto company that will be going live, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. So yeah, we'll see what happens. This meeting's supposed to happen on August 27th. I can expect Bitcoin price to go up, if I'm being honest, if this goes through, just because of the hype and because more people are going to be using Bitcoin. So that's going to be amazing.